This is Alan Rothstein, the man who wrote the sex contract. Court records show he forced a prospective tenant to sign it in November 2018 in order to rent this 4-bedroom home on Wedgebrook Street near Las Vegas Boulevard and St. Rose Parkway. At the time, Rothstein was the property manager and also a real estate broker. He lost both licenses after a Nevada Real Estate Division investigation. He now stands to lose a lot more if a federal judge finds him guilty. He's currently on trial for violations of the Fair Housing Act in this lawsuit filed by his former tenant. And the facts are unlike anything this experienced housing lawyer has ever seen.
My reaction was, you had to be putting me on, that nobody in their right mind would go to the trouble to draw up a contract like this.
No one involved would talk to us as the trial is ongoing. We asked legal expert Bruce Flamme to analyze the case. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, not even on bar exams in law school. Nobody has ever put something like this together that I've ever seen. Although, in all candor, I think there's more of these out there.
Welcome to Male Reality Lessons, where topics are reviewed and discussed as iron sharpens iron. On Male Reality Lessons today, we're going to speak to the problem with women and children going out here in the world uncovered. We all know we need the bare necessities of food, clothing, and shelter. But when it comes down to shelter and you're a single woman with kids, you're exposed to the wrath of the world. And not having any protection because you strong and independent don't need no man can lead you down a road of consequences that you can never come back from. Case in point, the current crisis with women trying to find Section 8 housing. But what you look for today is always not what you get. Because there are some individuals out here who want more than just the rent.
Sex in order to rent a home as part of an ongoing federal trial now. 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears has the bizarre story of a property manager who required his tenant to sign a sex contract and is now facing allegations of discrimination, harassment, and fraud. Darcy, what is this all about?
Well, you guys, it's actually hard to fathom that someone would put something like this in writing. We've had to cover some of the words because we can't show them on TV, but here it is in black and white. It's so crazy, I didn't believe it until I saw it in the court record. This is Alan Rothstein, the man who wrote the sex contract. Court records show he forced a prospective tenant to sign it in November 2018 in order to rent this 4-bedroom home on Wedgebrook Street near Las Vegas Boulevard and St. Rose Parkway. At the time, Rothstein was the property manager and also a real estate broker. He lost both licenses after a Nevada Real Estate Division investigation. He now stands to lose a lot more if a federal judge finds him guilty. He's currently on trial for violations of the Fair Housing Act in this lawsuit filed by his former tenant. And the facts are unlike anything this experienced housing lawyer has ever seen.
My reaction was, you had to be putting me on, that nobody in their right mind would go to the trouble to draw up a contract like this.
No one involved would talk to us as the trial is ongoing. We asked legal expert Bruce Flamme to analyze the case. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, not even on bar exams in law school. Nobody has ever put something like this together that I've ever seen. Although, in all candor, I think there's more of these out there.
Sources close to the case tell 13 Investigates this is not the first time Rothstein has done this, and there are other victims. Rothstein himself admitted to the real estate division that he wrote the sex contract and required the tenant to sign it. And in court records, he says any agreements or documents mentioned speak for themselves.
When somebody says the document speaks for itself, what they're really saying is, I don't want to talk about it.
We're talking about it to the extent that we can. We'll begin with the title.
It's direct consent for sexual intercourse or which is in italics. Who names a document that?
It goes on to say, please read this legal contract carefully.
And that's where I started laughing, because this is a legal contract the way the actors on Grey's Anatomy are real doctors, okay? This is literally not worth the paper it's printed on.
The terms of the so-called contract are even crazier than the title. The tenant had to swear she wasn't signing under the influence of any intoxicant, including alcohol, drugs, oysters,
Truffles, sea cucumber, strawberries, lobster. I've never known anybody to be under the influence of lobster. Dark chocolate, cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And LSD and cannabis. I don't know where you get a list like that.
Another paragraph says the tenant swears she does not currently have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or parent who is larger, meaner, and more physically aggressive, owns firearms, and or is more possessive than Rothstein.
She was told if she didn't sign this, she was not going to be able to get the unit. So for all intents and purposes, it's exactly sex for a place to live. It's exactly what it is. And it's almost sex on demand.
What do we make of the fact that she initialed this thing?
Nothing. People sign things all the time, and the popular myth is, well, you signed it, so it's binding. Yeah.
The problem with that statement is if you're not an attorney or some type of legal scholar, how do you know that?
There are a variety of things you can sign that are not binding. Any contract that is against the law or public policy is not binding.
So why would anyone sign anything like this? Court documents say in August 2018, the tenant and her 5 children were homeless, living from week to week in a residential hotel. The Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority threw them a lifeline, approving them for Section 8, a federal program that funds local public housing authorities to help low-income families rent from private landlords.
But one of the provisions of Section 8 is that once you're approved, you have to find a residence that will be covered by the program within about 60 days of when you're approved. Now, depending on where she was in that 60-day window when this thing came up, she may not have had other options.
Court records say she'd been allowed to move in and paid out of pocket to fix up the house so HUD would approve it.
So when you slap this document down in front of her and say, sign this or you have no place to live, that's coercion, that's duress, and I believe it's a violation of federal law.
The tenant's lawsuit alleges several other violations, including charging illegal fees and wrongful eviction after she refused any sexual encounters. In court records, Rothstein disputes any fair housing violations. Attorney Falami says no matter the outcome of the civil trial, accountability shouldn't stop there.
There may or may not have been crimes committed here. The word extortion flashes in my mind in this kind of situation. But that's not what this trial is about that's going on in federal court right now. But this is a good example of a case where maybe somebody ought to go to jail.
When the real estate division revoked Rothstein's licenses, state investigators found he listed a fake address for his brokerage. The state also found he repeatedly made unwanted sexual advances when he had the tenant come to his home to sign documents. He was fined $94,000 in that, and we will update this story with the outcome of the federal case.
If you're enjoying the video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Male Reality Lessons.
Other news tonight, a Metro Detroit landlord is accused of trying to prey on women who needed a place to live. The man owns a number of properties in Dearborn Heights. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig tells us the Justice Department filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against him under the Fair Housing Act.
The landlord at the center of this federal case is 51-year-old Mohammed Hussein, and he owns and manages over 24 homes here in Dearborn Heights. And he's accused of dangling homes to women where the price was much more than rent.
I was completely taken aback.
Eric Matthews stunned by the allegations against his landlord, Mohammed Hussein. The U.S. Department of Justice announcing a federal lawsuit against him, accusing him of subjecting female tenants and prospective ones to sexual harassment. We spoke to one tenant who did not want to show her face.
I've never had nothing like that, no experience like that with him at all. He's always been short and sweet. Did you deposit your rent? Yes, that's it.
But federal investigators say that's not how things went for other women. In one case, it's alleged Hussein told a prospective tenant that they could come to a rental agreement if she performed a sex act on him.
That's a damn shame.
And then sent nude pics of himself.
I would not have suspected anything, regarding harassment with women at all.
In the lawsuit, federal investigators say Hussein texted prospective tenants things like, "You take care of me, I take care of you. Let's have a little fun. Everything will be secret, don't worry. And I want to do you, honey." One woman responding with, "What sex have to do with renting a house?" In a statement to 7 Action News, Hussein's attorney Azam Elder slammed the DOJ's lawsuit and its allegations by anonymous tenants, saying the secrecy has handcuffed his client. He said they categorically deny the allegations and that his client has tenants who will testify to his kindness and stellar reputation.
He's never said nothing to me in any kind of way inappropriate.
Hussein's lawyer also said they look forward to cross-examining the accusers and clearing his client's name. In Dearborn Heights, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action.
Here are my final thoughts. While I believe no one should be taken advantage of, it is obvious you can always put yourself in a bad situation. From the way you carry yourself, from your poor decisions. We have been here before. Women that go out here in the world uncovered are susceptible to getting taken advantage of, especially when you have a lot of liabilities you're moving throughout this wilderness called North America. Being a single parent should not make you a vulnerable target, but it does, especially when you don't have male support or supervision. But I want to hear from you in the comment section. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this particular topic or any other topic here on Male Reality Lessons. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Smash that like button and have a good day.